Today's leading from the middle is for managers who feel like they're carrying the work that should belong to their team. Task gets delayed, responsibilities overlap, and when something goes wrong, the conversation turns into confusion instead of ownership. Most leaders think it's an accountability problem. But I want to ask you, could it be a role clarity issue? In the next few minutes, I want to show you a simple way to define ownership so accountability conversations become easier instead of uncomfortable. One of my favorite tools out there is the RACI model. The RACI model essentially outlines the 4 different roles people have and the task within a particular task or a project. So who is responsible for the work, who is accountable for the work, who should be consulted, and who should be informed. Those 4 different roles can be outlined before you start any project or before you looked at any type of outcome and saying, okay, if I am the accountable leader who overseeing this project, who's going to be the one that actually execute that work and make sure it gets done? Okay, you're responsible. Hey, we need to make sure that we talk to these particular stakeholders. Okay, they're who's going to be the one to consult that group and make sure that they know what's going on. Oh, we know that the executives need to be informed of the decisions that are made, or the other teammates need to be informed of the decisions that we make because it impacts them down the road. We just need to make sure that they're informed. Having that outlined based upon the task or based upon the work that's happening lets folks know what their roles are, right? And this can happen in a very formal way through just creating a RACI model or just in the dialogue that you have as a leader to your teams. As you are approaching the work that's necessary for your team's success, ideally, you want everybody to hold that level of ownership with the task that they do. That will make a high performing team. No matter what the role is, no matter what the tasks are, everybody takes ownership. And honestly, I would rather have everybody who's like all hands on in and saying, yep, I'm gonna do this and this and be overtly taking ownership versus nobody taking ownership at all or everybody placing blame, right? But finding that middle ground to say who, as people step in or as you gain buy-in towards the work and tasks and priorities you set beforehand, you're being the one to communicate. This is what ownership looks like. This is what accountability looks like. This is what it means when you are owning this. And outlining that and make it like a contract where you get to communicate with the person that is working through it to say, okay, tell me what you see. What does owning it look like for you in this space? What will holding you accountable look like in this conversation, right? In my one-on-ones that I've had with team members, oftentimes we do have that dialogue to where we get an understanding of what the work looks like. And then we have a shared understanding or mutual discussion about who's going to do what to make sure that our work gets accomplished. Setting deadlines, talking about the particular task, talking about what happens if issues arise and how we communicate, all help in defining those accountable tasks to meet those particular goals that you set with your teams. So take the time, formalize it in the form of a RACI or being able to identify specifically in your conversations with the people that you're working with, who's doing what, why are they doing it, what are the tasks, what are the timelines in that task, and how do you know when it's actually done? This might sound controversial, but I believe accountability doesn't fail because people don't care. I think it fails because people aren't certain what they actually own. When the roles are unclear, teams protect relationships by shared responsibility. But shared responsibility usually means no responsibility. So this week, choose one reoccurring project and clearly define who's responsible, who contributes, and who makes the final decision. When you do this, ownership creates confidence, and confident teams performs better.